my family, with my son and my wife. Hey everyone.
No worries.
Welcome to today's live stream. I would love to hear a confirmation from you guys if you can hear and see us, okay? So let's see if we get any confirmation, but it should work. I can hear you, so you can hear me as well. And guys, if you don't know what we are going to do already, today I have with me Louis Trumpler from Switzerland, the founder, the creator of IFCflow, which we already had a workshop on the basic functionalities. And today we are going to go deeper into more advanced things. Welcome, Louis. Thank you very much for joining. What are we going to do today?
Yeah, as you said, I think it's going to be cool if we dive into some of the more intense aspects of IFCflow. More than happy to give some insights, and I've prepared some example workflows that we can have a look at.
Okay, that's great. Can you try to share your screen, please? I hear some distortions. I'm not sure if they come from me or from you. Let's say, let me put this. Maybe from
Test.
Yeah, it now sounds good. I'll put on. Maybe it's from the. I don't know. But guys, if you hear any distortions, please let us know. Okay. Add to the scene. Let's see. And let me layout. All right, and for sure, guys, don't forget to ask questions. Okay, very important. If you want for your friends as well to see this, you can repost if you are on LinkedIn. If you are on YouTube, you can just share the link maybe. But yeah, like leave me a comment and tell me what you would be interested to learn. What kind of use case do you have in mind for using this tool? So yeah, the word is yours.
Thanks, Petru. Yeah, I think even though we pretty much covered all the basics last time, I'd still
Just 1 second. Sorry. Like I keep hearing this distortion. It's coming from you. So when you start speaking, it's like something like a distortion that is making it very difficult or almost impossible to understand what you say.
Is it better now?
Yeah, for now it's okay. Let's see when you speak more longer.
I have the same mic as usual.
Okay.
Let's
hope. Yeah, maybe the cable. I started to see it again. So it's like, I don't know, is it too close to yourself or something like that?
No, but
maybe a cable is, can you check on both ends? Maybe it's something that is not sitting properly. You changing the microphone?
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah, now I can hear you. At least there is no distortion. So
let's go with this. I can hear you.
Okay.
So yeah, we are at IFCflow.com. You can put it into the browser like this, IFC and then flow.com. Free and open source. As we covered last time, the IFC stays on your side. I don't care about your IFCs. I don't want to look at them, and I can't actually. You can have a look at source code if you go into about and then open the repository and have a look at the code yourself. You can always fork it, do your own thing with it. It's open source. The license is 8 GPL. That means that your code should be open source and with a compatible license too. So yeah, since we already covered pretty much the basics last time, I might just show really quickly what has changed since then. if I just load some sample model, I can load that into the IFC file node. You can drop nodes from the canvas, from the sidebar into the canvas. You can move them around, you can select them, and you can delete, etc. So right now I've loaded a model here. I'm just going to, let me just connect a watch node, so we just have some, so we see what's going on here.
Can you please, because I was asking you already, and I tried yesterday to do this filter with to see only the doors. Can you show me? Like I didn't manage to do so. Can you show me how would you add the filter and how the filter elements node will work in this case?
Yeah, I've added it just now, and it's pretty much untested.
Okay, so it was not yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why it was not working for me.
I will add a filter node, and I'll already connect the watch node here. Then I'll double click on the filter, and here I can now select if I want to do filter by property or by IFC class. And if I then put the IFC door in here, I can even select what's in the standard. Oh, I canceled out. I will just use IFC door, and I'll say it contains, but I can also use other options here.
Okay.
And then if I run that again, it should only contain the door elements, not the whole model. And I might have to switch from the table view to the JSON view, but I see that it's now completely empty. That might, let me just try another model, because I think that model didn't have any doors in it.
Okay. Okay, but it's okay. I don't want to hijack the session from what you have in mind.
No worries.
I can check now, because the node is there. I can also check myself later and let you know what and how it's working.
It's taking a while because I have other stuff on the canvas that is being executed. But yeah, that's basically how it's supposed to work. You can load the model, you can filter it, and yeah, here we go. We can see that model has some doors in them, and now we have a list where we only have the IFC doors.
Okay, but is it possible to structure this list like a table, for example, with the columns that we want?
Yes, definitely.
Like the QTO node, how the QTO node would work in this case, right? Because that's what I'm thinking. Like, let me just take the QTO for the doors, the door schedule.
Right now, that's not going to work because of data structure, I would say.
Exactly.
Let's try it out. I dropped the quantity takeoff node, and I'll say I want to have let me actually switch that to walls, just because I know there's some more data there.
Okay.
And then I'll do quantity takeoff by area, and we'll group probably by level. Makes sense to me. I'll connect another watch node here, so I see what's going on.
Can you move the window a bit upwards, because it's our image there, and it's not. It's like our images are over there. Now you can see. Perfect. Thank you.
And yeah, we get an invalid input because we are not feeding the whole model. What we actually should do, or what I'll probably allow, is to feed the model in like this, and then we also
feed the filter after.
Filter, exactly.
Yeah.
But that's not working right now. I'll definitely add that.
Okay, thank you.
Once I get to it.
Thank you. Now you can go on to what you had in mind. Sorry.
No worries. So yeah, if I if I just have a look at some, or let's start with some basic Python stuff. I just want to demonstrate that the Python node is quite powerful. Let me actually reload, then I can just start fresh. I'll load my trusted sample model, and I'll drop the Python node connected to, and then I have some code prepared where we basically just have a look at the model and report what's in there in a structured way. So we print all the express IDs, etc. And if I click run, you will see that the Python code is being executed at the moment. And once it finishes, it will probably say so. It should. We are not going to see that much because we haven't connected any watch nodes or similar, but we can see a start of what we are outputting here. So if we would want to look at those values, like at all of them, we could connect the watch node, run it again, and then we see the table here in a structured way, which basically just outputs what we extracted with the Python code. So we count the number of elements in the IFC, see how many IFC classes or types are there, etc. And what we could always do is export those values with the export data, which allows you to save it as a CSV. And yeah, I would say that's one of the easiest way to get data out of your IFC files. You don't really have to know any Python. Those easy scripts can be generated by ChatGPT, I would say.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, just copy what's down here, paste it into ChatGPT, and if you want to go a step deeper, you can always go into the GitHub repository, and there in the documentation, I actually have some Python examples. So I would probably just copy all of them, paste them into ChatGPT, and I'd say it's pretty straightforward to get a working Python script from that you can actually use to kind of generate your own data. Yeah, we can, of course, have a look at the model, see what we're dealing with here, interact with it in the viewer as usual. And I'd say this gives you quite a lot of flexibility to just basically do whatever you want with the model. But of course, the limitation is that you are willing to at least copy paste some Python
code.
And yeah, and because I am aware that not everyone is able and willing to do that, I have created, for example, the analysis node, where we have some pre-made stuff. Here I did this for like rooms and space analysis. And if we just test it out quickly. And we can see it's not going to do much if we don't connect a watch node. So that's usually my first step. And here we can generate some metrics around how spaces and even occupancy, if it's in the model, are distributed. So this allows you to fully analyze your IFC model. So you see what areas are there in what spaces, and if the space even has an occupancy defined, you will get, or you can always analyze that, which can be quite helpful if it's properly defined in the model, because it allows you to get the total occupancy of the building, and then you can do stuff like calculate the average density per square meter or per room or whatever. And that comes fully out of the room data and the IFC spaces, which is quite powerful if you can analyze those. And that's usually not very exposed in the more mainstream tools, I would say, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's some models do have circulation in it, where it's actually defined that this is a space for that belongs to the room program, and others that are just for circulation, which is quite cool. Not in this model, unfortunately. And yeah, last but not least, you can find out what elements belong to which rooms, and that's basically the larger workflow that I would want to show today. I thought it might be, or I've come across the problem multiple times where I've been asked to please add the room name to, for example, furniture, etc., which should be straightforward, but unfortunately it's not always, especially if those elements might even be in different models.
Yeah.
So the spaces and rooms might be in the architect's model, and like what you're interested might be in structure or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Is that problem familiar for you?
Yeah, especially about between MEP, I think more often.
Oh yeah.
True. Like MEP stuff that you want to make sure that they are in a specific space, right?
Yes, exactly. And especially in Switzerland, some owners tend to even specify that they want to have this data defined on the actual elements. And yeah, I thought it might be interesting to show how this can be done with IFCflow.
Like you are talking about adding this information because it's not there.
Well, it is there, just not in the correct form, or in the form that it's often required, because what is in the IFC is for example the room assignment. It can be in the IFC, if they belong to the same model, which is an abstract relationship, and for some owners that doesn't seem to be enough, and they would like to be able to have it just as a custom piece set, which then means you have to find out which room all elements belong to, and you have to kind of copy that info into some custom piece sets, which can be done very easily in IFCflow, and I think it demonstrates like a general approach where you can load the IFC into IFCflow.
Mm-hmm.
You then do some kind of analysis on it. And this can really be anything in the most abstract way. Could be life cycle analysis, could be costing. Here in this very basic example, we will just have a look at room assignment. And I'd say the concept of not having that information just living in a spreadsheet, but actually being able to add it back into the original IFC model can be quite powerful, depending on your workflow or your use case. So yeah, if we want to get started with that, I've already loaded the IFC model. We can have a look at what's actually in there, and we see this is a sample model. It does have some spaces in there. That's kind of the only requirement we have, and those spaces should have elements in them, inside of them actually, which in this model it contains some furniture, but it could also be MEP, etc. If it comes from different models, you would have to federate them first. I would just go through Bonsai with them and feed it as one model here, because currently you cannot combine two models actually. That is on the list because it allows quite powerful use case.
Yeah.
So yeah, it starts with the analysis node. You could always go straight with Python if you want to, but the analysis node allows you to generate basically a mapping of which element belongs to which room or space. So we see we have 21 spaces and we have 61 elements that are kind of inside of them. If I press D with the selected watch node, I can always change that to another view, which is the chart view, or the JSON, which is the raw data. That can also be copied from up here, which can be quite useful if you want to work with data. And right now, we could actually we cannot export this data as it is. It will, or the actual room data will not export like this because it's basically just a mapping. What we can do is that we can just use a simple Python node where we plug the results of the room analysis, which is basically this mapping. We plug that in here, and then I have a small script where I can just transform the data. That's on GitHub too for those that are interested. And it basically it just turns the mapping into an actual list that can then be exported. And if I connect that to the export node, it's set to CSV by default. And if I run that, it does generate the complete mapping or the complete assignments, basically. Let me see if I can just, no, I'm actually not going to put it in the browser. But yeah, you can try it out yourselves. And then you can see that you now get the whole list of elements. I can also connect the watch node, so I can show it in the browser. But yeah, I would say it's still pretty unspectacular because it just allows you to basically get the data maybe you want to save it locally as a CSV, but usually that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
And I should delete this one. Now it's gonna run. But yeah, it allows you to find out, or it allows you to analyze any IFC file. You can do any analysis you want to actually, if you know some Python, or you can just use whatever analysis I've added, which is some stuff around spaces and rooms for now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, here you see what's downloaded in the CSV. You get the element ID, and if it has and then the space ID.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to take it a step further and actually add that info into an IFC that we can download, I will connect another Python node to the room assignment, and this script is on GitHub too, where it basically transforms the space analysis output so that it can be used by the property node, because that's what we are going to do. We will use the property editor node, and if we double click on that one, we can set it up the way we want. And for this use case, we will set the property. We can also add something to an existing piece set, and we could also remove piece sets from IFC.
Mm-hmm.
But here we will set, and I'm gonna put it into some custom piece set, which I'll just call the piece set rooms or something like that. And then I'll do room name as the actual property name. I'll select that I want to use a value input, which then adds a third connector to the node, where we feed the output of the Python node, because here we have transformed the actual space analysis. And what we then need is, of course, the actual model, because we work with the model, and we only add some stuff in the usual IFC fashion. We don't destroy the model or anything. I can connect a watch node here to see what's happening, and it will run through. It will get the rooms, it will transform it, and here it will create all, or it should, yeah. Let me press D. It should create all the piece sets for the actual room info. And what we can do then is drop an export node, connect that here. But right now we don't want CSV. We can double click and switch either to Excel or JSON, and GLTF, which is still experimental, which is just some web geometry format.
Mm-hmm.
I will choose IFC, and if I run export here, it will generate an IFC with the added info in the properties.
Mm-hmm.
I can, yeah, seems like we've downloaded. I will run it again so we can just have a look at the model. It's a very small sample model with some rooms. And if I open that in Bonsai now, Let me just open it. Download.
Yeah. We have a few questions we can go over after you show this.
Yes. Nearly through. If Bonsai is behaving.
I don't see Bonsai yet. Just
no, it's off screen.
Okay.
Struggling.
Launching or what?
No, loading the IFC.
Okay.
Here we go.
Let's see.
Let me just. Never mind. I'll have to
Stop sharing and share again, something like that, right?
Yeah, probably. Give me just a sec.
What's up? What's so funny?
It's usually quick. It's when you want to show something.
Yeah. It's okay. I can ask you something then.
Yes. Let me and give me just some seconds. Then I'll have it ready.
Sure. You see here on the screen, Pierre Venter is asking space in IFC, rooms and spaces in Revit. How are these connected in the IFC and in Flow?
IFCflow works with what you have in your IFC, and that means you are at the mercy of the Revit IFC exporter. If you, let's put it like that. And you can set it up in a way that your Revit rooms get translated into nice IFC spaces. That is totally doable. It's just, I think it's not set up in the default template, if I'm correct. And for that reason, I see a lot of IFCs from Revit that don't contain any rooms, which is a bummer, of course, because room data is usually rich in information.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but that in the end is a question of learning how to properly export. So, because it's possible,
so.
It's not straightforward. It's not happening with the one click. So yeah, let's see. Yeah.
The tough thing is that in some viewers you don't even see the actual rooms. You have to do some extra clicks. So it's kind of like a hidden thing in some IFCs, which doesn't really help. And then also the actual room data isn't always very exposed, I would say.
Pierre completes with this: the containers of data are crucial methods of connecting objects together. Rooms and spaces are excellent examples. Yeah, I agree.
Yes. A very powerful feature of IFC. It can have some unexpected results. You have to be aware, for example, that elements can be assigned to rooms, and those rooms then belong to a story, which then belong to a project and to a site. So if you query an element for its building story through its spatial assignment,
it will not show.
Sometimes end up with a room, etc., which can be a bit unintuitive, but nonetheless, I think that the concept of having those abstract relationships is very powerful.
I agree. Onur Götzepe is asking, also, let's say I have one MEP model and one architectural model which have IFC spaces. Exactly the thing that great question. The thing that I was also hinting to in the beginning. how can we know which MEP elements is inside which IFC space?
Yeah. I would say right now you'd have to federate in Bonsai. So you would use IFC patch probably to turn them into one model, I'd say.
Yeah. Combine. You have to combine the models. Yeah, not just federate, but you have to combine them into one model.
That's what I mean.
I think it's the IFC patch recipe is called merge IFC project. So you are going to combine everything. But yeah, like this is not it's something that you would do only for this purpose, not that it's a good thing to do, right? But just to have one unique model with all this information, and then you are just checking to which spaces intersects which objects, right? Or but I don't, or maybe you can add that information using IFCflow into a custom piece or something else. I'm not sure exactly how would you read that.
I mean, I would say ideally this should be done by the common data environment. You should be able to upload an IFC with rules and then some MEP, and the common data environment should be able to process those two IFCs and then be aware of which MEP elements belong to which spaces or rooms. Unfortunately, this is very rarely the case. And I've seen that only in some very specialized workflows that target building use and maintenance.
Mm-hmm.
But it is a somewhat recurring theme that this ends up giving some headaches.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you for some reason if you need this as a custom property for whatever reason, the way to do it right now is to merge those two projects with the merge project patch, feed that into IFCflow, and then you should be able to do what we have done just now,
mm-hmm.
which basically is that we've looked at the rooms and we've then identified what's in there, and I've now selected that bed, and we have that custom piece set with the rooms here.
I can't see your screen yet. You're not sharing. If you are pointing to your screen right now.
I should be.
No, there is no screen shared right now. Now
I can see.
Now.
Oh, okay.
Only now started.
Interesting. So yeah, I've opened the model in Bonsai. I went into some room, and then I can see that we have the piece that's here where we've added the room name. And if I go into some other room, look at some furniture there, we see the same thing, or another thing, because it's another room. But yeah, everything that was inside of a room, which is only furniture for this model, now got the correct room assignment.
Mm-hmm.
And what we did is is pretty trivial. We analyzed the IFC model. We transformed those abstract relationships. We mapped them to the actual IFC elements, and then we are able to export it as a new IFC.
Mm-hmm.
And even though this is not rocket science, if you think about it, I think this can enable quite a few workflows that actually rely on some kind of IFC data, do some kind of logic or some kind of calculation, whatever, and then you can save it back to the IFC, which can be cool if you have to send the model to some client or whatever that just requires that. But what I've also realized is that our IFC viewers are very good at showing data. So you can actually use it. You can use the IFC as a visualization vehicle, I would say. If you, for example, save cost to the actual building elements, you can then create quite nice lists and visualizations, etc. Simply inside of your application, your BIM, your IFC viewer.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. We have another question from Onur. If I have two separate IFC models, site and building, site elements is shown under IFC building, but how can I get combined two models? Is there any way to make site elements directly under IFC site? Yes, you can do that also with Bonsai. Bonsai can help you to do the same thing, but first you will need to do two things. Then you have to merge the files, and after that you assign them to the right container, to the right spatial component. We have another question. Perfect. Thank you for explanation, Onur. You're welcome. Ricardo Simos is asking, will it be possible to have other input options like CSV file, for example? Since it's IFCflow, I doubt that that's the main goal. But what exactly would you like to do with this CSV file? Can you give us more details? What exactly you have in mind? What you would like to do, Ricardo? You know?
I mean, I'm very interested what he wants to do specifically. But yeah, I know what it's about, and yes, it will be coming. Because then you can upload your, for example, your costing data that you have in your office, where you say an external wall costs X dollar per square meter, or you can bring in some LCA data or whatever.
Okay, I understand. Like if he's thinking about using IFC CSV, then that makes sense. I hope doesn't mean that he wants to combine the information between two CSV files, because that's why it's not so clear for me, right?
I know. The way I understood it is that it would be cool if IFCflow had an import node where you can bring in other data, and I'm working on that. So right now we just have the IFC file, and we also have some parameter where we can just define a single thing. But then we cannot bring in whole lists of data. For example, your internal cost database or something that you would like to add here, maybe multiply by the quantity of the building element, and then you can save that as an IFC, or always export as Excel or CSV, whatever.
Yeah, cool.
I think yes, it will be coming. I can't say exactly when, but it will enable some more diverse use cases, definitely.
Okay, great. Onur has another question here. I see it from the beginning. For example, element. No, wait. Why is not? Yeah. What can be best practice to manage relationships? For example, element relationship 1, like IFC stair flight, is part of IFC stair. I think he means how to do it with IFCflow. We have something about relationships here, right? I think I saw something, but I'm not sure.
I do, but it's still very much work in progress. And what I'm implementing here is to be able to see what is contained in some way and what is aggregated. And then also IFC has the concept of a voiding thing, which means just a void in a wall or whatever. And those always have like a direction, which then would allow you to analyze which elements are related to other elements. But it's, I would say it's functional, but yeah, you would just have to try how far you get. Feel free to reach out, although if you need any help. Regarding the actual relations in the IFC, I'd say it's pretty similar to the questions around Revit and rooms. It depends on your authoring system, on your exporting settings, etc.
Okay. Ricardo adds some more details to his question, like if it's possible to input options like CSV file, for example. He wants to, he's thinking about mapping IFC properties from a WBS to create a BOQ. Do you know what WBS stands for? Because I have no idea what that means.
I think it's work breakdown structure.
Yeah, probably.
Which is used in the project management context. And yes, definitely, it would allow you to bring that data in, and then you'd have to find a way to map that to actual IFC elements. Then you can always multiply by some quantity, and definitely save that sweet data into the IFC. I'll let you know once I've added it. I've got some cool ideas myself now, which is always good.
Okay, that's great. We got another question from Brian Rasmussen. When you look at elements belonging to rooms, spaces, how do you handle elements that go across multiple rooms? For example, a pipe. Can you handle the element as it is, or do you need to cut the pipe for each space? I don't think cutting the pipe for each space it's some best practice from my noob perspective. But
I'm actually I don't have a definitive answer here. I would say it very much depends. The way it usually happens in the IFC is that the whole element gets assigned to one room, and here again, this is very much at the mercy of your exporter. I would assume that it would pick some room that is like in the middle of the element, but then again, it might just pick the first room that it picks up somehow. And yes, this can be problematic. What you could do is you could, if you had to have it for some weird reason, you could always cut the elements yourself. I would say it's not so straightforward, but it's actually something that could already be done with IFCflow. Maybe not fully, because the whole geometric thing isn't exposed through WebAssembly, and at that point you'd probably be better off to write some script for Bonsai. If you really had to have it cut.
Yeah, if you really have to do that, yeah, that's the thing. Like technically it's possible, but you have to have a use case where it makes sense to even think about using that, right? Otherwise, I would think for a workaround. What would be like a smarter way to think about it, right?
And maybe don't send that model to the MEP fabricator because he's going to produce the wrong pieces.
Yeah, for sure. Ricardo says, "Nice to know. Thanks. You're welcome, Ricardo." Now back to you, Louis. No more question for now.
Cool. I don't have anything else to show for now.
Okay. You heard, guys. So if you have any other questions, now is the time to do it. Okay. Now comes another one from Boris. is there a way to structure a QTO based on a classification system such as EBKPH?
Yes, we have, or I have a full suite for that. I would even say you would probably go into IFC Classify first. In IFC Classify, you can load the IFC model, and there you can, or you would have to assign your EBKP classification. You can load them here, and then you can load the EBKP rules, which are a set of pre-made rules that assign some EBKP class, which is the Swiss classification system.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not taking any responsibility for any assignments, but yes, it will assign that, and then you can export that as an IFC. That then means that each element has the correct IFC classification. You then take that IFC into IFCflow, load it with the IFC file node, and then you can extract the data. And since you have IFC classification with correct EBKP already, it will be pretty easy to generate bill of quantities according to EBKP. And the nicest thing is, if you have a model or if you have an update after 2 weeks, the architect has a new model, you can always bring it in here, and because it's all rule-based, it will just reapply all those rules, and it will run it again, and then you have all the nice EBKP classification applied again.
Yes, I hope that was clear enough, Boris.
Reach out if you have any questions.
For sure, yeah. You can definitely contact also Louis on LinkedIn or email. Yeah. Okay, so we don't have any other questions. Let's wrap this up with what are what do you see? Do you see anything about how the tool is being used? What are people using it for? Kind of what they do with it?
I'm not actually looking into it. I do have some basic analytics, but I don't really look at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
To be honest, IFCflow hasn't really been a priority
for
lately.
You, yeah. Okay.
But yeah,
I understand.
I mean, I've had some interest of other developers, and I see some interesting stuff there, where someone managed to fully connect it to large language models, which then means you can just enter in text what you want, and it will drop the nodes onto the canvas and run the whole workflow automatically, which I find really cool.
Okay.
But I can't show that yet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll try to show that in the future.
Okay.
I think it's a cool concept.
Sounds good. Do you see the other question? I don't know if we still have time. Boris is asking, can we have a quick demonstration in IFC workflow, please?
Do you mean
the IFC thing about the classification? The previous question he had about the classification.
I don't think that's gonna fit in 5 minutes, unfortunately. But we could totally plan that for a future stream.
Yeah,
I think that might actually be a topic that is interesting for many
more
different scenarios.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Onur is asking again. Can we deconstruct the IFC objects into their geometric representations? Like, can we get faces and edges of IFC spaces, bounding boxes, or can we get base curve of the IFC wall, it helps geometric analysis.
You cannot, because it uses IFC OpenShell in the browser, which means it's encapsulated in WebAssembly, and there we don't have access to that geometry library, which means we cannot decompose or actually create or work with any geometry directly.
Yeah. He also asks, it would be super cool if we use IFCflow components in Bonsai as geometry nodes. I don't see ever how that could happen, because there are two different parallel universes. At least I might be wrong, but yeah, like this is a web tool and Bonsai, it's Bonsai. But actually, you are aware of the web apps in Bonsai, right, Louis?
I am, and I'm also aware of Squarechock, which isn't maintained anymore, I think.
Yeah, I never I think Squarechock never I never saw it working properly. Like, you always needed to use older versions of Blender or Bonsai or stuff like that. So I don't think Squarechock was ever a proper tool to work with IFC. I'm not sure, I could be wrong, but like it was always so many weird conditions to make it work. So I don't think that. I'm thinking like maybe you saw the IDS tester now has a web app. So now you can edit and view also an IDS inside an offline page created by Bonsai, right? So kind of maybe a connection like that, if it's possible, then that would make sense, right? If you have the IFCflow connected to Bonsai through a offline web app. But I don't know what that requires and so on. That's the only idea that comes to me.
That might be an interesting project, and I also see potential in having like a Squarechock like
spin, something better, something but something built from scratch or something like that, or a spin-off of it, or a fork of it and modified.
Yeah, because it would totally enable all those geometric workflows, etc. That run inside of Blender.
Okay. All right. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Let's wrap it up now, because we are getting close to 1 hour. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much again, Louis, for taking the time and coming along and sharing your knowledge and putting the effort to keep developing these tools. I really appreciate it. And then, as you mentioned, we could have a follow-up at some point in 2-3 weeks. Whenever you have time, we can talk about that, about the thing that Boris was interested in. And like you mentioned, maybe is going to be interesting as well for more people.
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. I wish